What is up? Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And today, I'm going to be talking about common mistakes people make when trying to write their own workouts, whether it be for fat loss, strength, hypertrophy, performance. These kind of apply across the board. But before I dig in, I just wanted to thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed the podcast so far, if you could rate the show, subscribe, share it to somebody who might need to hear it, I'd really appreciate it because that just helps me debunk a lot of the crap that's out there and helps me help more people. So anyway, let's dig in. So common mistakes people make when writing their own workout programming. 1, they're not actually writing a plan. So oftentimes, and I used to do this as well. So I've been there, totally get it. They just show up to the gym and decide what muscle they want to work on, and then pick whatever exercises they want. And then that next week, it's completely different. And this is a problem because if you're not trying to progress, if you're not trying to build muscle, if you're not trying to lose body fat, if you're not trying to improve your performance or strength then it doesn't matter. If you're just trying to enjoy working out and sending some type of signal to a muscle group, that's totally fine. And I do this sometimes too. If I'm not following a plan, if I'm not working with a coach, sometimes if I'm on vacation, I'll just go and do a couple exercises for fun just because I enjoy it. But I'm not expecting to get anything out of it, and that's the key. But the problem with this is if you're constantly doing something different, it's really hard to see if you're making progress because the key for hypertrophy, strength, any really goal with regards to strength training, that key thing that helps you know if you're eliciting an adaptation is progressively overloading. And to know if you're progressively overloading or not, you need to know if you're doing more than you were last week, if you're getting stronger in your lifts, if you're able to do more reps in that same lift. I think there was another episode and I described progressive overload. It's like common fitness and nutrition terms. I think that's episode 60 or something like that. It's like a couple weeks back. Anyway, if you're not progressively overloading, then you're not sending that stimulus or that signal to your body to build muscle or elicit an adaptation. And so you can't really know if you're progressively overloading if you're constantly doing different exercises, or you're not working, like your workouts are just random every time. And so that's really the biggest problem. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm a little tired today. Anyway, number 2, the number 2 problem that I see that I used to do, that a lot of people do, is they build out a workout program, like a workout routine, and they do the same thing forever. The same thing forever. I did this for years. I did have ebbs and flows because it was like my go-to workout when I wasn't training with my team or I wasn't in school. Because when I was in school, I usually didn't have time because I was on a lot of sports teams in high school and stuff. I had a workout program that every summer I do 2 to 3 times a week with my dad, and it was the same thing. I did try to increase the weights every time, but it got harder and harder to increase the weights because I've been doing the same thing forever. So my body's like, well, we're already adapted to these things, so we don't need to change. And so if you're writing a program and it's consistent exercises and stuff, that's great. But if you're always doing the same thing, then as I said, with my problem, what my problem was, right, is I wasn't able, or my body had adapted to that program. And so I wasn't making any more progress. I kind of plateaued. My strength plateaued, my hypertrophy plateaued. I mean, I wasn't necessarily trying to build muscle. I was trying to get stronger and just be better at my sports that I was playing. But I was always doing the same thing, always doing the same exercises, the same rep range, the same rest periods, the same weights because I plateaued in strength. And yeah, you can't progress if you're always doing the same thing. Your body adapts pretty easily. So usually after I like to do 4-week programs for most of my clients, but after about 6 weeks, usually your body adapts and it's going to be a lot more difficult to make progress. So, yeah, you need to be changing things up every 4 to 6 weeks, ideally. And then the other common issue is people who are like me, they're go-getters, they're doing too much. They're training too much. They're training too much. They're doing too many working sets. And they're not recovering adequately. So, realistically, or not even realistically, ideally, you want to be training about 2 to 4 times a week. You don't need more than that. I only train 4 times a week, and this is my profession. And it's a lot. 4 times a week is a lot. Most people, 2 to 4 times a week. Because you want to be hitting those muscle groups about 2 to 3 times a week. So that's why 2 to 4 times a week is kind of the nice sweet spot. If you're training twice a week, you want to do full body splits. If you're training 3 times a week, probably full body, or maybe 1 full body, 1 upper, 1 lower, that sort of thing. If it's 4 days a week, probably upper lower split, or maybe 2 full body and 1 upper and 1 lower. But yeah, so most people doing too much, and most people like me doing too much. And so you're not recovering adequately, and your program's not periodized very well. So, as I said before, the number of exercises you're doing, the number of sets, the number of reps, you want to manage that volume. You don't want to be doing too much. As I said, you want to be able to recover. And so, for most people, most average lifters, about 8 to 12 sets per muscle group, like working sets, so like pushing close to failure, that's a nice sweet spot. So, I mean, if you're a pretty trained individual, like you've been training for a while, you're a more advanced lifter, well, one, you're probably not listening to my podcast, but if you are, you probably want to you can go up to 20 working sets per muscle group. But after that, the benefit to potential injury risk, it's not really worth it. Tend to be pushing, even 20 could be pushing close to overtraining depending on your recovery. And if you're a newbie lifter, like you've never lifted before, even 1 set per muscle group is going to be awesome, because that's more than you were doing last week. So anyway, but so I'll say for most people, 8 to 20, right? More advanced, probably need more working sets. Newer, closer to 8. If you've never trained before, you could do 4 working sets. You could do 1 working set. That's going to be more than you were doing last week. Your body's going to have to adapt to that. So yeah. Don't do too much. You don't need to. It can actually be counterproductive. And so basically this mistake is doing too much, but also not, and then they kind of all relate, right? It's like always doing the same thing, not having a plan, or doing too much. So the solution to that is writing a program that's well written, or following a program if you don't know how to write one, either writing one or following one that's well written. It takes into account volume and exercise selection, and exercise order, and allows you to progressively overload so you can consistently see those strength gains week over week. So that's kind of the key. And whether you're, and this is, I guess this is another common mistake. People think you need to strength train differently depending on your goals. While yes, especially if you're like an elite athlete, like you're a power lifter, you're a bodybuilder, you're a competitive athlete, this does not necessarily apply to you. But if you have goals in general that are within that scope, so if you're trying to look good, move well, and get stronger, these principles still apply to all of those, right? The workout might look a little bit different, but if you're focusing on progressive overload, working on using the biggest bang for your buck movements, primarily compound lifts with accessory movements depending on your goals, and you're following a program and switching things up every 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to see progress in all of those categories, especially if you haven't been following a very good plan from here on out. And by that I mean if you haven't been following a plan at all. And the worst plan done consistently is better than the most optimal plan not followed. But you need to follow some sort of plan. So I actually have a strength training routine in my fat loss guide, so you can click the link below to download it if you like, and that will kind of give you a good idea of what a full body strength training routine looks like that prioritizes those compound lifts, takes into account progressive overload, and moderates volume and intensity. But back to what I was talking about is, generally speaking too, with strength training, if you're getting stronger, you're improving in all of those categories in physique, health, aesthetics, athletics. If you're getting stronger, you're building muscle, you're moving in the right direction. And so whether you're trying to build muscle, lose body fat, build strength, improve performance, these principles all apply, and you want to be getting stronger in your workouts week over week and progressing week over week and following a periodized strength training routine. But as I said, the more advanced you get, the more nuanced it does get. But those principles tend to apply for the most part. But anyway, hopefully this episode was helpful. And again, if you want a sample, download that fat loss guide below, or click that link below to download it. And yeah, thanks for listening. Again, if this was helpful, please share the show, like the show, rate the show, subscribe to the show. That just helps me get in front of more people and help more people. And anyway, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.